Radhe Krishna, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha. Welcome to Thirukkolur Penpillai Rahasyam episode number 63. In the last few episodes, Thirukkolur Penpillai has been comparing herself with the great disciples of Swami Ramanuja himself, to the extent that in the last episode she benchmarked herself with Swami Ramanuja himself. The quality of Ramanuja winning the debates in the forums, all that captured her attention. In our today's episode, it is again one of the greatest devotees of Swami Ramanuja, who was no less than a reformist, who was no less than a revolutionary, to call out the undesirable practices prevalent in those days, which is prevalent even today, discrimination based on caste. We will see who this devotee is, more about the devotee will follow. Thirukkolur Penpillai states in her Bhakti Rahasyam, "Did I see only the marks of the Lord like Nallan Chakravarthi?" So Nallan Chakravarthi is this devotee's name. He was the disciple of Ramanuja. He was very wealthy back in those days. He lived on the banks of river Kaveri in the holy land of Sri Rangam. He was very righteous, he was very pious. He did his religious duties every day. He had the Lord in his heart, always prayed to him. He always remembered the Lord and his spiritual master Swami Ramanuja. It so happens one day when he was taking his bath, something came and hit him. He was a bit startled to see a corpse, a dead body which had come and hit him. He realized that since this body has come floating, the final rites or cremation, proper cremation, has not been done for this person. Secondly, he notices that on the shoulders of the dead person there were the holy marks of Lord Vishnu, the conch, that is Shankha, and the discus, Chakra. Immediately this devotee Nallan Chakravarthi realizes that this dead person is a devotee of Lord Vishnu, and he is the follower of the Sri Vaishnava Siddhanta. That is, he is one of the disciples of Swami Ramanuja himself. Why? Because it is one of the traditions or customs which is followed by the followers of Sri Sampradaya, where they inscribe the marks of the Lord, that is the Shankha and Chakra, on their shoulders. So this sight of the Shankha and Chakra was enough for Nallan Chakravarthi to take the decision that he must perform the final rites of this dead person, because for him he was a devotee and he saw nothing beyond that. He felt that it was an opportunity God has given him to serve this devotee when he had met his end. Now, Nallan Chakravarthi did not go to do any background checks. Who was this person? Why his last rites were not done by his own community, his relatives? Who is he? Which strata does he belong to? Nothing clouded his mind. For him, he was a devotee. That was it. Now, it so happened that this person belonged to the so-called lower class, and Nallan Chakravarthi was a Brahmin coming from the priestly class. But he had that maturity back in those times not to discriminate based on class or strata. Now, this is a deeply rooted problem where the stronger class always exploits the weaker class. It has been a universal phenomenon, though our country Bharat receives a bad press saying that caste system is the worst problem which our country has, no doubt. But the same caste system is known by different names in different parts of the world, though people may not admit it. Slavery is one form of caste system. In other countries, those classes are addressed by different names, sophisticated names, nobles, aristocrats, blue-blooded or royal bloods, and the people working they may be addressed as peasants or working class, cattle class, whatnot. So first we have to realize that this is a universal phenomenon where people, that is the strong people, exploit weak people. But the point to note here is there were ample saints in our country back in those days who called out that this system was wrong. This was not something which is ordained by the Lord himself. He has not asked people to discriminate. There is a purpose for which the hierarchy was defined. It was again based on the work one performs, based on the nature of that person. It was not a birth-based right. So that's a different topic in itself for discussion, along with all its share of controversies which we come across every now and then. Even today there are horrible instances where these differences, this discrimination ends up in exploitation, ends up in someone taking the life of someone else. Again, if we were to just focus on the teachings of these great saints, these reformers, they were totally against it. Even in the life history of Swami Ramanuja himself, there were so many instances where he did not discriminate people from the so-called lower castes. He mingled with everyone freely, and he also gave openly the mantra of Om Namo Narayana to everyone, irrespective of their birth, irrespective of their caste. So such was the greatness of this saint, and his disciple Nallan Chakravarthi followed his footsteps, rightly so. Now when the society came to know about this matter, that Nallan Chakravarthi has done the final rites of this person from another caste, they were up against him. They felt that he has violated the prevailing rules, prevailing customs, so he should be banned, he should be an outcast. Similarly, people from the dead person's community, they came and they argued that this person, this dead person, he had, it seems, not followed some of their rules and traditions, so they had already banned him from, isolated him from their community. So they felt that there was no need for Nallan Chakravarthi to do the final rites when they themselves had abandoned him. Now for Nallan Chakravarthi, all these arguments from both sides of the community were nothing less than a nuisance. For him, as I mentioned earlier, he had seen the marks of the Lord on the shoulder of the dead person, and for him that was enough. That was his inner voice, that was the voice of his master Swami Ramanuja from within, to do this as a duty. So he did it. He didn't care for the society. If the society bans him, fine. So it so happened on the next day there was a temple festival where the Lord, in his festive form, festive deity, he came out to tour the streets of Srirangam to give his vision to everyone. So as the priests were coming with the chariot of the festive deity of the Lord, there was a huge crowd which had gathered there to take the darshan. Now Nallan Chakravarthi also came to take darshan of the Lord. The entire society, with this incident fresh in their minds, they went to one side, leaving Nallan Chakravarthi on the other side. They jostled for space. They were cramped because they wanted to have the vision. And here Nallan Chakravarthi, isolated from the world, isolated from these people with utter narrow-mindedness, he enjoyed the darshan of the Lord in a calm and a relaxing manner. So one point to note here is, even if the world is against us, the Lord will always be with us. That has to sink in to our mind. We can win any situation when the Lord is with us throughout our lifetime. Now, the Lord could not tolerate this, that he wanted the people to realize the greatness of Nallan Chakravarthi. So Lord Vishnu, he speaks through one of the priests who was coming along with the chariot. So through the priest he addresses the crowd and he says to Nallan Chakravarthi, the phrase goes like this in Tamil, I will translate it as well. Urukani Pollan Yanakani Nallan, which means Urukani Pollan is, for the society you are the bad one, but for me you are the good one. Yanakani Nallan. So this was a certificate given by the ultimate Lord in front of everyone in that village. As soon as the entire village heard this from the mouth of the priest, they realized their folly and they begged Nallan Chakravarthi to forgive them for their mistake. Again, for Nallan Chakravarthi it was not a moment to rejoice. Yesterday when the crowds were talking ill about him, he did not suffer. Today when the same crowd begged for forgiveness, it was not that, see how great I am, he didn't get those feelings in his head. He went on with his duty of constantly remembering the Lord, his master, and chanting the holy names. So this incident catches Thirukkolur Penpillai's attention, that the Lord himself gave the certificate to Nallan Chakravarthi that he is the good one. Why? Because he saw beyond the differences. He just saw the marks of the Lord. He realized that this person is a devotee, and irrespective of taking note of any other differences or any other background checks, he did a wonderful job. Now, something more about Nallan Chakravarthi. He was actually doing this great service of reaching out to the tribals, to the people from hunting community, to the people who were from the so-called lower class, realizing that these people were suffering from the exploitation of the so-called higher castes. He used to reach out to them, he used to explain to them about the glory of the Lord, the glory of his spiritual master Swami Ramanuja, and in that way he was able to bring a lot of change in these people, in their spiritual needs. Now, how this came to be known is when Swami Ramanuja left Srirangam. We saw this maybe 3-4 episodes back, where because of the troubles caused by the Chola king, Swami Ramanuja, he leaves Srirangam and he goes to the Karnataka region, Melkote. So when he was approaching Melkote, he had to pass through a dense forest. So he and his disciples were carrying on. That's when they came face to face with some people from the hunting community. They were people from a tribal community, let us put it that way. So when these tribals saw the mark of the Lord, that is, it's plainly put, it is a white U with a red line in between. So that signifies that the person is the follower of Lord Vishnu. They come from this particular sampradaya. So these tribals immediately recognized that they were coming from Srirangam. So, and again, none of these tribals had ever seen Swami Ramanuja. This was the first time they were seeing this group, but just by seeing the mark on their forehead, they came to know that these people had come from Srirangam. So immediately the tribals inquire Swami Ramanuja and his disciples as to how is Swami Ramanuja? We know that you are coming from Srirangam. Now Swami Ramanuja and his disciples were taken a bit aback. How did these tribals come to know about them? And this was the first time they were seeing this group. So again, not disclosing the identity of Swami Ramanuja, the disciples replied that Swami Ramanuja is comfortably living in Srirangam and all is well. But we have a question to ask. How did you come to know about Swami Ramanuja? For which the tribals reply that we have a great spiritual master who goes by the name Nallan Chakravarthi. He has come to us, he has reached out a lot, many times, and he has explained us the glories of the Lord and Swami Ramanuja. So we in our minds and hearts, we have accepted Swami Ramanuja as our God. So he only taught us about the various things in this Sri Vaishnava tradition, and with that we asked you about Swami Ramanuja. So Swami Ramanuja himself rejoiced thinking about Nallan Chakravarthi at that point in time when he met the tribals. So Nallan Chakravarthi in a way had a special place in Swami Ramanuja's heart. So now when Thirukkolur Penpillai made this statement about Nallan Chakravarthi, did I see only the marks of the Lord like Nallan Chakravarthi? Swami Ramanuja kind of recapped the incident which he had experienced when he met the tribals and how he had felt about Nallan Chakravarthi. So all those feelings came back to Swami Ramanuja. So that was the content of our Bhakti Rahasyam number 63. The main point here is about not seeing the differences, not discriminating people, not exploiting them. Every profession is important. We are no one to judge or decide that this profession, say people who study or people who are able to recite mantras or people who are able to administer effectively, who are able to govern a particular state or a nation, they are more important than people who are involved in laborious jobs. Again, who are we to decide that? Imagine if the farmer doesn't sow his seeds, he doesn't prepare the crops, who is going to feed? Just like the farmer, just like the soldier, just like people who are intellectually strong, they are required by the community. Even people doing laborious tasks, the so-called menial tasks, they are as important as any other profession. Just giving an example, imagine if the person who picks up garbage, who disposes garbage, who disposes wastes, who does the thankless act of maintaining, say, the drainage systems, he or she doesn't work through, what would be the condition of the society? So how are we to decide that these people are not important, these people are, say, low, from the lower class, when the Lord, when the great devotees, they themselves spoke about this, they themselves were against this thousands of years back? How can we be so narrow-minded? Agreed, there were certain distortions in this caste system, maybe for political reasons, maybe for some other economic reasons, maybe for proving one's own strength. But for all these reasons, dominating over the weaker sections is no way. Things have happened in our history in a particular pattern, but at least it is for us individuals who are educated, who are matured, to see through these differences. At least let us take this pledge. Whoever is hearing this, let us take that pledge. Let us spread the message of not doing any kinds of discrimination and helping the society to progress or prosper, at least in the future, by eliminating all these differences. Everyone has the right to study. Anyone can do any profession. It depends on the capabilities of the particular individual, and it is not by birth. This Lord Krishna himself says in the Bhagavad Gita, where he says the hierarchy of castes is not by birth but by nature or capability or tendency one has. So we can discuss about this particular topic as a separate topic, but here the message is to stop seeing differences, stop our bias and prejudices, and help everyone. And in that, let us try and build a happy and a prosperous nation where peace and brotherhood, these would be the key messages. So stay blessed, stay devoted, and stay tuned for our next Bhakti Rahasyam. Radhe Krishna, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Srimate Ramanujaya Namaha.